You're only one energy clearing away. Hello, I'm Fractal Future and welcome to the Vanguard of Light. So we got a good one. What do? We help energy sensitive people take things to the next level, to crack open their abilities, to show up bigger in the world, and to really delve into this non-physical world and bring back the magic for everyone. So let's talk about this. You are only one clearing away, one energetic block away. And it's cultivating that mind frame, because in this, I guess, physical world, it's always kind of like building, and then you can feel that about the spiritual world, like, oh, it must be this building thing, and like, oh, I've got all these limitations, I got to remove all these limitations, and then I'll be a little bit better and a little bit better, and I can improve. And then sometimes you feel overwhelmed of like, oh man, I got so many limitations and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. And I want to be bigger here, but I can't use my voice and this and that, and we kind of get in that mind frame, like the physical world. And like, just a perfect example would be like, weight loss, right? If you have 100 pounds to lose, there's 100 pounds to lose. You got to lose each one of those 100 pounds. Or like, say you want to be a millionaire and you only have $50,000. Well, there's all that money. There's like that whole progression. You got to go get there. And it's like, oh man, how will I get there? There's so far to go. But that's not the spiritual world. That's not how the spiritual world is. See, we came in as these beings of light with miraculous abilities, right? We've got all these layers of limitations, all this inversion, all this stuff we have to do to kind of be adopted into this world. And we came in to bring, to raise it up, right? But we're still in the depths of it, right? And kind of what you want to think about it as like a volcano, right? We've all this magma, all this potential, right? And then once the magma works its way up, it doesn't have to break through all the crust of the earth. All it does is have to find one little path to, once it gets to the surface, then boom, you have this explosion of a volcano. And that's more what the spiritual world is. You have all these hidden abilities that are just waiting to birth, waiting to completely change your life. And you could just be one clearing away. No matter how that comes, whether it's in a meditation, whether it's in some body work, whether it's in a verbal clearing, whether it's in a shamanic experience, but you're just one clearing away from whatever you might want to be looking for. It could be your abundance. It could be the love of your life. It could be the health you've always wanted, but you're only one clearing away. And think about it like that. It's just, how do you get to where you can crack open this crust, this covering? And it's just one little spot, one little place, one little weak spot where you can crack that open, and then your spirit starts birthing forward and your whole life changes. It's a whole game changer. So it's not like, you think, because it looks like on the outside, I think, oh man, I've got all these things to work on in all these different areas. And it's not true, because it's really, which one is the one that's going to crack it all open, to where then all of a sudden you start birthing some of your gifts. Just even the simple of say go with the weight loss thing, you could crack open to where you get that one belief where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm changing my weight. That's it. I'm done. There's no more messing around. I don't care what the program is. I'll find the program. I'm changing it. Like, it's just gonna happen. It's like, that's it. And that could be like that one thing when you get that moment of like, oh, it's happening. Nothing's pushed me back. And that's kind of like the surface level that kind of mirrors the physical world, where they're like, make a decision, make a belief. And, that is really important. That helps pushing things in the physical world. But in the spiritual world, when that happens, when that belief, that change happens, it's permanent. And it isn't like, in the physical world, you got to kind of push and you say like, I've decided to do this and I'm gonna, and you grit through it. Right? In the spiritual, when it happens, it's just like, boom. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is the way I'm going. This is what I'm doing. This is what's going to happen. Right? And one clearing can easily open that up. And that's the surface spiritual that mirrors the physical world. But then there's a much deeper level to where you could be one clearing away, where you crack open a new ability. And that new ability will take you on a whole new adventure to like epic proportions. So it's even, you could have it seems basic, but it's not. I mean, you get a new belief that you crack open of like, this is what I'm doing with my life, and it happens on a spiritual level. There's no more resistance to it. If it happens spiritually, it's like, I'm doing it. It's done. You know, I'm guided now, right? And it's like euphoric feeling, and there's just such a knowing that this is what I'm going to do, right? And it's just, this is my path. And a lot of people had it where they've like, you know, made a request of spirit of like, you know, if this technique heals my son, I'm dedicated for life, right? And there isn't a push anymore. It's just kind of like, oh my gosh, my son got healed. I'm dedicated, right? But we're talking about, you could also have a gift crack open. I can imagine, like, just an example would be like, all of a sudden you're able to see and hear angels. I mean, I saw an angel for about a second, and it was life changing. I mean, I was in the lowest of low place. I saw it for like just a second. It was super, like, just almost like small. And for like the next like 3 weeks, I was just happiest camper ever. Like, just having that level of divine like experience touch me for just like a second. And all of a sudden, I mean, I was in the lowest of low. The circumstances hadn't changed. I was still, all this stuff was going on, but it was like, I was so touched by that divine experience. I'm just like, oh my God, oh my gosh. And that was just like a little click, click, just a little glimpse that I saw. Let alone like all of a sudden you wake up to your ability and you can now actively commune and talk with angels and see them. I mean, your life would radically change. And it's any one of those abilities could just show up. Like you could have it in there, and it's kind of like we see like, oh, we see this master healer and they have all these abilities, and I feel like I'm just here and they're there. But that's what just cracks open. And then all of a sudden, you can miraculously heal people. I mean, you just hands-on healing, just boom. They can have a broken leg and you just go, and their leg heals. I mean, imagine if that ability just shows up for you. Your life would completely change, would radically change. If that ability just all of a sudden showed up, it'd be it's already inside you, but you did that one clearing. That all of a sudden it was like cracked open. It's pouring in. Source is like, hey, this is what you got to do to realize your ability. You can put your hands on, you can start healing people like that. Your life changes, radically changes, like unbelievably so. And you've got all those, they're in there. Those are the radical ones. That one clearing could open up. Let alone just all the other things that you want in your life, just a slight change in belief, a slight new nuance, a slight deeper connection with Source, because you know Source has got the answer. And you get that slight deeper connection, and it's like, oh my gosh, now I know how I'm supposed to do relationship. Or, now I know the kind of foods I'm supposed to eat. That worked for me. Or, oh my gosh, now I know how if I want to climb the financial mountain, oh my gosh, this is what I got to do. This is, oh my gosh, I just go do this one little area and I'm set. I'm good. I'm solid. You know, so it's one clearing away. And it's to cultivate that belief of every time you're going to go in, whether it's doing a prayer, doing an energy clearing, getting body work done, going in and knowing like, hey, wait a second, I'm entering this non-physical world, and this could be the time it cracks open a whole new ability. Because you don't want to have where your ability cracks open, but you don't even pay attention, and then it closes up. It's like, oh, I guess it wasn't going to be realized. Or it's thin. You know, it's just like so ready to go, and all you have to do is go pop, and it'll crack open. But you're thinking that, oh no, it's this mountain thing, and you're not looking for those places where it's like crack. So it's like having that excitement, that thought of like, okay, this next clearing could be the one. And that's going to keep you excited to keep going, to be like, you know, it's like when you change something in the non-physical world, like the potential is like unlimited as to what could happen. I mean, you go to the gym and you do some bicep curls, right? And say you're doing 30 pounds. It's not like you're going to do one and then all of a sudden, boom, you're going to be doing 100 pounds. You're going to do one and all of a sudden you can do 10,000 pounds curls. Like it's just, you cracked it open. And the physical world doesn't operate that way. But in the spiritual world, the non-physical, it does. To where you could have that one thing and it cracks open a whole new, completely magical world, no matter where you are right now in life. You could be in the bottom of the bottom, lowest of the low. And if it cracks open, everything changes. So it's cultivating that thought, that mind frame of like, that's what you're playing with. That's the potential you're going into when you go into the non-physical realms, into the spiritual realm of like, this could be a game changer. This one clearing, this one practice could be the game changer. So it's always keeping that in your mind, like, is it this next one? Is it this one? And being open of like, okay, is it about to happen? Is it going to happen? So I hope we want to leave you with that and cultivate that mind frame. If you want to get some of the clearing technology, just check out the description there for the vibration shift technology. But whatever you're doing, whichever one is to cultivate that mind frame that like, this could be it. You know, this is what I'm playing with, you know, don't spend 3 weeks and do a little bit. It's like, no, every day. Because this is what you're playing with, the potential, the possibility of it all changing to something so unbelievably magical. So, if you liked the video, give me a like. If you want to hear more content like that, please subscribe to this channel. Hitting the like does help out because it gets it out to more people, because then the YouTube algorithm will say like, oh, people like this, let me give it out to more people that followed similar videos, similar beliefs that you had, and then it just propagates, and we get more people getting ready to crack open their abilities, which then gives more techniques, more ways in which that could crack open your abilities, or you crack open another person's abilities. And then the world just becomes more and more magical. So, until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.